podcast is a Jill Divine Media production.
We're just normal kids learning about God's big story.
Welcome to Normal Goes a Long Way.
For kids.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our journey through God's big story. I'm Miss April, and today we are going to learn the epic story of Samson. Last week, Miss Hannah asked, where can God use you as a helper? Here's what you told us.
Can be a helper of God by being kind to people. I help with the silverware in my house. God can use me as a helper to clean up. I can tell friends about Jesus' big work. I helped clean up my toys.
We love hearing from you. Miss Hannah and I are so excited that you are having great talks with your family. Keep it up. Today, we'll hear from an awesome kid with some super fun facts about hair.
It's time for some fun facts. I'm Rowan and Caden. We are 4 years old. Boys' hair grows faster than girls' hair. The most common hair color is black. The rarest color is red. Hair grows faster when it's warm outside.
Here is one more fun fact for you. Miss Hannah, who just happens to have fabulous hair, has a dog, and his name is Samson, just like the man in our story today. Let's dive into this one, friends. God's people were caught in a terrible pattern. They followed God and listened to God. Then they would forget all about him. Life would become terrible. They would realize their mistake, so they would go back to following God and listening to him. And then they would forget all about him. Life would become terrible. Over and over again, this kept happening. Finally, there was hope. God's people were blessed with a leader named Samson, and he listened to God. Samson regularly asked God for help, and God would help him. Samson also had a special gift from God, incredible strength. This man was known for fighting a lion with his bare hands. Wowzers! As you guys already know, sometimes in life, people fall in love, and this happened to Samson. He fell in love with a beautiful woman named Delilah. Sadly, Delilah didn't really love Samson. His enemies had told Delilah that they would give her lots of money if she could figure out what made Samson so strong. So she tried to trick Samson into telling her. Samson knew he should not share his secret, so he was not honest with her. First, he told her that if he was tied down with new leather straps, he could not be captured. Delilah was so happy that she got his secret. She tied him up with new leather straps while he was sleeping and told his enemies to get him. Samson broke free immediately. Too easy for Samson. Delilah had been tricked. Delilah said to Samson, if you really love me, you will tell me your secret. This time, he said that he had to be tied down with new ropes, and that would make him lose his power. Delilah tied him down with new ropes while he was sleeping, but his enemies still could not capture him. He could snap those ropes like pretzels. Delilah really wanted all that money, so she got angry at Samson. You lied to me. If you love me, you will tell me your secret. Samson wasn't listening to God anymore. He was really only listening to Delilah, and he was tired of her asking about this secret so many times. He just gave up and told her his secret. My strength is in my hair. My hair has never been cut. If someone shaved my head, I would be as weak as any man. While Samson was sleeping, Delilah cut his hair. When his enemies came, he could not fight them off. They treated him terribly, blinding him and throwing him in jail. One day, just to make fun of Samson, they brought him to the temple and chained him to 2 pillars. They wanted to brag to everybody that they had captured Samson, who had once been the strongest man around. Now he was chained up like an animal. In that terrible, embarrassing moment, Samson remembered God. He prayed to the Lord and asked God to give him strength just one more time. God listened and answered Samson's prayer. Samson pushed with all his might. The temple came crashing down, and Samson was able to defeat his enemies. What I want you to remember about him is that Samson was a powerful man who knew that his strength came from God. You have wonderful gifts and talents too, because that is how God made you. It's such a wonderful thing to remember that it is God who has given us those things. When we use our strength, our power, our talents, or our love to make the world a better place, God is so happy. I also love that Samson was strong and powerful, but he knew he needed God's help. We all need God's help, and our wonderful God is ready to help us. So let's get to the point.
Samson asks God for help. I can ask God for help too.
God gave Samson the gift of strength. Today with your family, I want you to answer this question. How has God made you special? Parents, you can help by telling your kids what special things you see in them. If you want to tell us what your family talked about, you can go to the show notes at normalgoesalongway.com, where we tell you how to send in a voice memo. You could even be featured on a future episode of this podcast. Don't forget, God loves you with a great big love.